Okay, everybody, welcome back. In this section of the training, we will be creating our company, and then I don't know if I'm going to make this its own separate video or do at the end of this video the registration code piece. So let's log on and let's do this. So we've already installed, in my case, AveraSell improved. So let's go to the icon on the desktop. And there it is. We have one sample company here, Blink's Video Game Emporium. If we double click on it, we will get this message about some security settings needing to be updated. So OK to that. Close to that. We are on register 1. Default user ID and password are POS. Going to go ahead and continue there. And this is what you're going to get. And this is what the AveraSell software looks like once you've logged in to either Blink's or to your own company. I wanted to show you this especially because you can come in here on the Blink's Video Game Emporium and play with this and not worry about it, not worry about breaking it. So let's go ahead and let's get out of here and let's create us a new company. So I'm going to click here where it says create new company. It's going to ask us for a data password to protect our files. Your individual company files will have a password on them. So if you go in through a utility called TopScan, which we'll be covering later on in the course, you will be prompted for this password. So either write it down or commit it to memory. Just do not make it something obvious for your employees to know, such as your store name or your store number. I'm going to use the super secure password of demo today, DEMO. Now, if you've noticed, or you will be noticing here shortly, F10 is the do it, complete it, commit it key. If on your keyboard you hit the F10 key, that will accept your response. So, demo, that's exactly the way I want it, F10. Maybe. If I hit the right button, that would help. Boom, F10, there we go. Hit the wrong button. So, the first thing you're going to be asked about is, do you want the enter key to act the same as the tab key? In normal Windows programs, if you press the tab key, it moves you to the next edit box. Here, if you leave this box checked, you can press the enter key and it'll do the same thing. I like that setting, so I'm going to F10 and I'm going to fill out my information here. Now, the things that are important is this company name here and this address line 1. You need to enter these exactly the way you want them, as it is rather difficult to change these after the fact for registration purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and say that my store today, the name of this demo store that we're going to be using throughout the rest of this, is called Michaela.net demo store. And I made a typo. I flubbed it already. .net demo store. Enter. And as you can see, when I pressed enter there, that did move us down to the description line, which is just a copy of what we have up here. If we had multiple stores going on in the same installation, we could call this Main Street Store. Put in our password, which today, or put in our address line 1, which today is going to be 123 Fake Street. And address 2, we don't have one. City is Merced, CA. Zip code is 12345. Oops. 12345. Thank you. And I'm using fictitious data here just because it's a training video. Why not? Phone number is going to be 555-1212. We don't have a fax here. We don't have an email. We don't have a website. And our area code is 209. So we are going to F10 because we're done here. What type of business are we? This will make a few little modifications that'll help us out in the long run. Today we're going to be a general retail, cash carry, default invoice and order numbers. We're going to leave those the heck alone. Price levels, you can set up to 6 pricing levels that each inventory item can have. So suggested retail, hour price, employee. Oops, if I can type. And manager. And then we like how that looks. So F10. And our fiscal year this time starts in January. We're going to be using our Windows default printer today. So I don't have a 40-column receipt printer. F10. Okay, this is where we're going to set up our taxes. For an 8% tax, guys, it's 0.08. Was a 7.75 tax, it'd be 0.07075 if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But this will, if you press enter, take it out to 6 decimal places like that. We don't have a tax rate too, but if you're in Canada, you do. And that's how you'd fill out this information down here next. And as a friendly reminder, your default sales ID is POS. Your default password is POS. Press F10 to finish. It's going to say, hey, is this exactly the way you want it? Because we're about ready to create some defaults. And I'm going to say, yes, it is. This little animated guy doing data entry is going to do its thing and click the button. Which I just pressed the space bar. We are on register 1 today. We get a friendly reminder once again that our default sales ID and password is POS for the sales ID, POS for the password. And we don't want to show this again because we know it. It's practically beaten into our heads. So if we press OK, we get presented with a very familiar login form, POS, POS, enter. And the next thing you're going to get is an alert box saying, hey, good idea to probably back up your files regularly. And clicking OK will take you to the backup setup form. So let's do it. And this is your backup setup form. We want to, if you have multiple stations on the network, which later on we will enable that feature. Whether or not I'll actually show that in practice, I don't know. But you want to make sure that station 1, on what days do you want it to auto backup? We're going to leave all 7 of them checked. At what time? And at what time do you need the backup to end or want the backup to end? If you've got a lot of data, it would be advisable to go ahead and so what time do you want it to start the backup, and for how long do you want the software to be unavailable to network users? Because while it's backing up, you don't want anybody logged in. And where do you want it to store your backups? By default, it stores it in C. In my case, C AVS Data 2 Backups, and I'll show you where that folder's at. And how many backups do you want it to retain? A week and 1 day is fine by me. F10 it says, hey, that directory doesn't exist. You want to create it. So we're going to say yes. And, whoa, a backup hasn't been performed. Do you want to make one now? Sure. It's going to kick you out. It's going to make your backup, and it's going to tell you where it put it. 21.zip. I'll explain that format in just a second. We're going to click on OK. We're going to close this for just a, let's scroll over to the right just a bit. And you'll notice this ID. How Blinks is ID number 1. Our Michaela.net demo store is ID number 2. How that translates is if you close out of AveraSell and go to your File Explorer, go to your C drive, go to where you installed AveraSell, which in my case is AVS. You're going to notice a Data 1 folder. That is the folder for the Blinks video game Emporium files. And Data 2 folder. Data 2 is where your company files are. And if you had another instance, another company, it would be Data 3, Data 4, Data 5, and so on. And there's our backups folder. ID number 2, as evidenced by Data 2. Backup number 1. If I had another backup here, it would be 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, all the way out to 2.8. The 9th backup would then be called 2.1. So that is a little bit of the how the backups are structured and where they're at. You can obviously put those backups wherever you want, such as on the network somewhere, or out to something that your backup software will catch, like a Cronus True Image or any of those, or Back on Track. So in the next video, we're going to be taking our Michaela.net store and we're going to be adding registration codes. So we're going to be using our local registration code generator that came installed with AveraSell Plus, or AveraSell Improved, excuse me. So with that out of the way, thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and I'll see you in the next one when we get registration codes.